And now I'm going to turn it over to Jamie Brown, and she's going to talk about the leadership minor. Like I mentioned, the leadership minor is one of the most popular, if not the most popular minor at Central Michigan University, simply because it really does complement so many of the academic programs we offer. And leadership is becoming so important to employers out there as well. So we want to give you an idea of what the leadership minor entails and make sure to get any of your questions answered as well. So Jamie, I'll let you take it from here.
Great, thank you. This picture is actually from our Future Educators Learning Community, which is connected through the EHS Residential College. And so there's 3 faculty, and we teach LDR 200, HDF 100, and EDU 107, which is Introduction to Teaching and then Human Growth and Development. And this will be our 4th year running that this fall. So we have 25 students that are connected. So it's been a really cool way to collaborate within the college, and we get students in all different majors on the leadership minor, but this one's focused a little bit on students who are at least interested in education and kids with programming. So, all right, go to the next slide. So the leadership is a big part of Central. We get a lot of students that come in that are really interested in being a part of leadership. I know one of our students joining us today mentioned being a part of Leadership Advancement Scholarship Program. We get a lot of students that come to campus. They're interested in Leadership Safari. They're interested in Leadership Camp. They've done things in high school, and so leadership is a really big part of CMU. That you can have those opportunities in and out of the classroom, but our minor is one of the first ones in the state at a 4-year institution, and we offer a way for you to connect your outside activities with academics. And so it's kind of a neat way to develop your leadership skills in the classroom based on theory versus just being in a leadership position. Go to the next slide there. So there's it's called the NACE survey, and it's a National Association of Colleges and Employers, and they do a survey of colleges and what employers are looking for. And leadership is one of the top 8 competencies that they associate with career readiness. And you would think, okay, I've got to have writing skills, I've got to have, use Excel or computer programs, but it's really communication, writing, working in a team, problem solving. And we work on this with a lot of our leadership programs on campus as well as in the classroom. And so, as Katie said, it's one of the largest minors on campus, and it's interdisciplinary. So we connect it with other programs and not just leadership. And it's great being in the Department of RPL because we have some awesome hands-on programs, and we really believe in that. As Tim has talked about a lot of our other majors, we often get students who are interested in leadership and then they discover RPL or just RPL and they discover leadership as well. But it's nice being connected with a program and a department that really believes in hands-on learning and experiences. Next slide. So leadership helps you work on your own strengths and kind of helping you to be ready, career readiness, being helpful for the transition to the workplace or internships or other programs. And it really kind of helps you to look at, your interpersonal skills. And we talk a lot about emotional intelligence. We talk about theory because there's a lot of things that we cover in and out of the classroom in all of our programs, but we really want to make sure that you have hands-on experiences and having some ideas of how to take this forward. And so I think that's one great thing about having something that complements your academic interests as well as what you're doing as a student on campus. And it's not just designed for every student who's the president of this and the director of that. Any student can engage in leadership. And so that's what's nice about our program, complementing that as an academic aspect. And so we have about 4,000 students involved across campus in different leadership programs. And the minor, as I said, gives you an academic foundation for that. And so students who are engaged in leadership are doing stuff with our alternative breaks programs as resident assistants and diversity inclusion assistants, working in student activities with our Leadership Institute, student employment across campus. And so it really kind of connects what you're doing academically, and it complements all our different programs. We have students. I had a student who was majoring in music theater that just finished the minor. Another student who's in engineering, and he got a job. He said that they asked him as much about his program as they did about his leadership minor classes. And so we get students from across campus who decide to minor in leadership. So as we said, it complements all different programs, and we have students that are, a student who just got 2 full ride offers to law school who just completed the minor. Students going into politics, students going into recreation, education. We get a lot of students who are interested in like sports administration, want to go into running different programs and other areas across health professions and other ways that they want to be in an administrative position. Some of these pictures, so I always take my classes to the Adventure Center, which is housed in our department, kind of get students out of their comfort zone a little bit. And we do a lot of hands-on things in our classes. We do research and other things, but we do some hands-on things to kind of see how leadership works. And the picture there on the right is Dr. Davies came to our Future Educators Learning Community to talk, and he always really engages with a lot of our students on campus. Really kind of talks about finding your passion and what you're interested in. And I always love when he comes to my classes to talk about that because it kind of helps you connect academically and socially what you're interested in. And he always has a cool story about he started off as a business major and wanted to go into working in Wall Street and had this great job. And then he found his passion was really working in higher education. So it's kind of cool to see some people how they've connected leadership to their career in all different areas. Our curriculum, we have a 24 credit minor, and some of our first classes, we have Introduction to Leadership, LDR 200, which is our first course. And then we have a field study in leadership, so it kind of complements what Tim talked about a lot with our RPL program, is that students get to do a 100-hour field study in leadership. So they pick something they're interested in creating a project for that is leadership based or something they're doing training or development for. We've had students work with nonprofits on campus and off campus, organize Greek Week, a conference, we've had people with businesses to help them redo kind of their business plans. And so it's kind of a way for students to experience leadership and do something and kind of sample some things out. We had a student he was an IT major, and he actually did his experience working to test the IT stuff at a hospital where he was thinking about, and he was just an internship that he turned into his field study, and they actually offered him a job because they were really impressed with his ability to work with people and lead people through this simulation stuff. So that was kind of cool. We had a couple students work with like the Maple Syrup Festival this past spring, even though it got canceled, but some of their planning. And so you get to do some hands-on stuff in a small 100-hour experience. And then our newer class, Contemporary Issues in Leadership, we talk about kind of what's going on in the world and looking at kind of problem solving and theory and organizations and doing some case studies in that class. And then there's a class, Communications and Leadership. And so that allows students to kind of see a little bit more of how leadership impacts communication and working with some of those theories a little bit more connected with communication, which is in everything. And then we have 9 credits of electives. So students will pick 9 credit hours, and a lot of them overlap with our general education program and classes from their majors and other minors. So sometimes students look at the minor and they're like, wow, I can add another minor with only 4 classes, maybe one other elective that I have to be selective in picking. And so it's kind of cool to see that it overlaps a lot. So students really like how much it connects with other departments and programs. Most of our classes are offered in seat, and then a couple things are online. But we really encourage our students on campus to do them in seat because it's a lot more fun, more interactive with students on campus. But we do have some of these available online as well. Some students taking some LDR 200 this summer remote, and their leadership minors as well is excited about the program. Kind of some of our recent graduates, I mentioned a couple of them as we've gone along, but students going on into politics. One of our students is going to law school that I just had in our class. Some students going to medical school. A lot of students are interested in higher education. So students are, one of our students, Lorenzo, he just graduated, and he is going to Texas, El Paso to do a graduate program. And so he just completed the leadership minor. Some other students going on to Washington, D.C. For different programs. And so it's cool to see how much leadership overlaps with so many interdisciplinary aspects. And so we have students in all different areas going into different interest areas. One of our students, who's one of our recreation event management majors, she just completed a 15-week internship in California, and she just headed up to Alaska to do 15 weeks at a military base. So Tim was talking about students doing programming for the military, and she was also a leadership minor. So she said, I've been able to incorporate so much of what I got from my major and my minor into what I'm doing in my internship. So that is the leadership minor, really engaging program. A lot of students have set across campus that major in different areas and minor in leadership. And yeah, it's been really great working with some of our amazing students who are interested in our program.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jamie. So this is now our opportunity to actually interact with one of our current students. We're fortunate to have Landon joining us today. He is a current Central Michigan University student, and he is also minoring in leadership. So I'm going to actually let Landon go ahead and introduce himself, kind of give a little bit of background, and then we'll see if we have any questions that Landon can help with. Tim and Jamie are also able to answer any questions you guys would have as well. So Landon?
Actually, Chad is the current student.
Oh my goodness. I am so sorry about that. Chad, Landon's probably like, oh my goodness, what is she going to ask me right now? But Chad, I apologize. I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself.
It's okay. So my name is Chad. My pronouns are he, him, and his. I'm a recreation event management major, and I have minors in communication and leadership. I currently just finished my junior year of college, so it's kind of crazy because I'm now a senior. But I'm involved in many things on campus. I'm in a fraternity. I do leadership safari. I'm a core guide. I did Spark leadership. I do Special Olympics. I do AREP, which is the Association of Recreation Event Professionals. So I'm super involved on campus, but this is my home. I love RPL, I love leadership, and I was able to combine it.
Thank you so much, Chad. Not again, I apologize. So if you guys have questions, you can either go ahead and type them in the chat box, or you can just unmute yourself. So I'm actually going to ask Chad his first question. And when did you declare your leadership minor? Did you know you wanted to minor in leadership coming into Central Michigan University, or is it something you added on once you got into your classes, etc.?
So I am a Leader Advancement Scholar, and on the old curriculum, Leader Advancement Scholars, they had to minor in leadership. So I kind of knew coming into college that I was going to minor in leadership just because of the scholarship I had. So yeah, I knew.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Any other questions you guys can think of? So I guess for you, Jamie, are you seeing certain majors that pop up more often than others, or are really the possibilities endless for students to add on this leadership minor?
It's really pretty endless. I mean, as I mentioned, I get students from all over campus, not just in our college. We get a lot from our college, and we do get a lot of our RPL majors, human development, family studies majors. We get a lot of students in business, communication, sports administration. We get students in, so I mentioned engineering, with a student who's doing music theater, because I wanted to go into maybe managing, doing productions later. So really, it's across the board. We do get some education majors as well who are just interested in leadership, or Samantha, I think you mentioned coming in with kind of a passion for leadership and LAF. So I get students from all over the place. Like I have a student who I haven't seen a major before, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I decided to minor in leadership." So I get a lot of health professions majors. So really across the board. And I don't think I can't think of any major we haven't had. We get more of a domination of some of them, but we get a lot of different students.
Awesome. And this question could really be for Tim or Jamie, but I know academic advising is such an important piece of the Central Michigan University experience. Obviously, within your department, you have a really great presence of faculty advising and creating that mentorship. So give our guests a little insight on how that works for our students and just how that can really set Central Michigan University apart as well with the guidance we're able to provide them.
Sure. Yeah, I think one of the things we do in Finch, and we call it the Hallowed Halls. It's not our brand new building, but it's a building that has a phenomenal culture in it. Is we have the doors open and we call each other by our first names, not only faculty to faculty, but student to faculty. And we want to be involved in the planning of your majors and minors, create that complement that creates a really cool credential. And so the quicker you get to us, the easier that is. In our program, in the REM side of it, we have what's very sacrilegiously called the Bible, but it has the entire plan, and it has a schedule maker right on it. There's a bulletin board in the hallway that has the same thing. It's on our website, but we really want to walk you through semester by semester and plan that out for you. And so I think all of our majors, in addition to the leadership minor, are very hands-on advisors. Within the major, we don't do a lot with the UP program, but once you get into our majors and minors, we're very hands-on.
I used to be an academic advisor before I went into teaching, and I think it's just so important to connect with faculty early on. And even if you go and talk to a faculty member and then you decide, maybe I want to do something else, or I want to turn this major into a minor or a minor into a major, go and reach out. I think students sometimes get a little intimidated, and faculty are really passionate and they know so much about their programs. And, we'd have students who are like, I don't know what I want to major in. I'm like, go talk to this person or go talk to that person. And I think it's something we do really well, as Tim said in Finch, of getting students to us and helping them plan that out. And I think the sooner students connect with the department, that's really helpful. And it's also a way to, really connect with faculty, because then you kind of think about what electives to take. Or I don't know about Tim, but I get a lot of requests for letters of recommendation. And when I know a student and I've had him in a couple of classes, or I've known him for 3 years, it's a lot easier to write that than, I'm sorry, I don't remember you, because you never made a connection. So making those personal connections is something that's really, I think, important across Central, but especially with faculty as you're planning what you're interested in.
And
Yeah,
I think too, the leadership minor creates such a unique opportunity, because as students go through their academic programs, typically you're connecting with those that are in teacher education, in child development, but in leadership, you're making connections across campus, just because there's people from all over the place. So it's just a really cool way to create more connections and to make more connections that will get those letters of recommendation as well. So I apologize for cutting you off, Tim.
No, that's okay. Chad probably can chime in here, and that's where I was going to direct it. Is here's somebody that's in both sides of that, and it's almost better maybe to hear the students speak to what the culture is and what the feeling is within that building.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So it's a super welcoming environment. As Tio mentioned, their doors are always open. We call them by their first names. They don't wear suits. They wear fun clothes like Tio. He's always in CU gear. You won't see him in anything else. It's super fun. Like, he even follows us on social media. He wishes us happy birthday. He's there for his students. Same with the leadership. Like, they're there for their students. They care about us. They want to reach out to us and get to know us better. They always have their doors open, so we can always have that communication. And just, it's a very welcoming, open environment. And it's different from different colleges, because it's just, we get to know each other on a personal basis. Rather, they see us as a human rather than just a number in the classroom.
Absolutely.
That's so great to hear, Chad. So, another question I had for you, Jamie, was what is the latest a student can actually declare a minor? So if they're wanting to get done in 4 years, how early do they need to declare that leadership minor?
You can declare your major or minor at any time for any program. I think a lot of students think they have to wait, but you can, some programs you have to be admitted to. But for the leadership minor, we have students that come in and take LDR 200 as a first year student or as a first year transfer student. And you really need 3 semesters probably to do the program. We have had some students that have done it in 2, but I would suggest giving yourself at least 3 semesters, because you need to be able to fit in your other electives and other classes. But really, for our classes, it's 3 semesters. But you can declare your major or minor at any time. And I think even as a first year student, go and talk to faculty in any area, I think people get intimidated by that. But in those intro classes and stuff, go and chat early on, because students wait and they're like, gosh, I wish I discovered this earlier. And our programs in RPL, we get a lot of students that come in and know what they want to major in. We also call ourselves a discoverable major, because students are like, I want to work with people, and they think that has to be teaching or that has to be something else. And they go, wow, this is a job. I can plan weddings, or I can plan the Traverse City Cherry Festival and other things. And they don't realize how disciplinary that's connected with other areas. So yeah, get to faculty and staff early on to declare programs.
I cannot stress that enough. So we have these great programs that fall into human services, and many times they are discovery majors that students don't realize that can actually be my major. That's exactly what I want to do. And we're just really trying to get the word out there that we have some really great opportunities. So, Chad, what have been some of the cool opportunities, things you've been able to participate in that have been part of that leadership minor experience so far?
So one of the cool experience with the leadership minor is that Jamie mentioned we have to have 100 hours field experience, and I wanted to tie it into my major, which is recreation event management. So this past semester, I was a teaching assistant for one of the RPL classes. So I was able to combine like my leadership minor and my passion for recreation into one. So one of the classes that I did it for is called RPL 430, and they plan an event. So I was able to use my leadership skills to help students be able to plan an event to the best of their ability with the coronavirus. But it was such a cool experience because I was able to work hand in hand with students and utilize my passions in one thing. So
I think that's so cool as well. Obviously, these are unprecedented times, something we never imagined happening, but just knowing that we've still been able to work with our students to complete these experiences, to keep them on track with their programs, I think has been so awesome to see. And I think our students have been able to make the best of such a strange situation. So I love hearing that you were able to continue that experience as well. So okay, well, I think this about wraps things up. So, any last words from Tim, Jamie, or Chad to our guests before we send them on their way for the afternoon?
Stay fired up out there, people.
Yeah. Yeah, and just reach out to anybody at Central if you have questions, any of us. I don't know if any of the three of you have any questions on any of our programs, but reach out. I think Central is a very personal place, and that's one of the things that I love about it. I actually had I'm not bragging about our department, but I will. We had a couple students tell me that our faculty were so much more helpful during these recent couple of months of just working with students and being accommodating and personal. And that really, I think, says a lot about, our programs and I think Central in general, but a lot of students just said, I really appreciated how helpful people were and stuff, but reach out, ask questions, don't hesitate to email. I get emails all the time from students. And even if I don't have the answer, we'll direct you where you need to be and look at all different programs. Like I said, our programs are really discoverable with RPL in general. And, students don't realize what some of these things mean or what you can do with it. And so reach out and explore.
Couldn't agree more. So I will be following up with you guys with some contact information for Tim, Jamie, and then for the other programs within the company as well. But if there's anything we can do to help, please do not hesitate to reach out. But we are so excited to have you join us today, and we hope to see you on campus this fall. So thanks, everyone. I hope you have a great day.
Thanks, gang. Have a great day.